Well, here we are, collectors. We finally got to the SOS show here, the biggest military show in the world. 2,000 tables, and we're starting here on Friday morning. Yesterday we ran around and did a lot of things, tried to buy some things and so forth. And I want to introduce you to a good buddy of mine that I know for probably, I don't know, 35, 40 years. This is Mr. Gary Detour. He's a former police officer and an ardent SS collector, among other things. And he has wonderful taste. And Gary's bringing a sword in for me here. I haven't seen the sword, although I know there's a picture of it in my SS book, I believe. So you're looking at this thing and say, oh, big deal, look at this, an Army NCO sword, right? Isn't that what people are going to think, Gary? Yeah. Now I haven't looked yet. This is all just. Let's just see what this thing looks like. Oh boy, here we go. It's a double-edged sword. It's made by Carl Eichhorn, and you can see it's got kind of a floral pattern on the reverse of it. But then when we turn it over on the obverse, what are we looking at here, Gar?
Yeah, it got a nice inscription etched right in there to an SD officer.
It's an SD officer. Wow. Have you researched him at all?
I have not.
Well, that's something I'll be happy to do.
And one thing about that your video doesn't show is that it has a smell of old grease or something.
I smell it from here. I thought it was you.
No.
Yeah, the blade doesn't look like it's even been wiped off in 50 years.
I haven't touched it.
Yeah. Well, I'll be very anxious to look this fella up and get his record. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of SS collectors that will be interested in something like this. So we'll see what we can do with it.
Okay, can I plug my book?
I wish you would, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Gary has done a book about a year ago, something like that.
Well, actually, it's about 4 years ago, but time does fly.
Time flies, yeah.
It's Screaming Eagle Gliders. It's about the 321st Glider Field Artillery Battalion in World War II. From start to finish.
How big of a book is it? How many pages?
It's about 400 pages.
That's a lot of research.
21 years of research at that master model.
Wow. That's something. Well, let's hope the collectors, you should take advantage of this. And if you need to get a hold of Gary, you can always email me and I'll make sure that you do. So, okay, thanks a lot. Well, here we are. You guys all know Mr. Craig Gottlieb. He's my buddy sometimes, and sometimes he's not, but we love each other, don't we, Craig?
We do, Tom, and you said I'm the man who you love to hate and hate to love.
Well, I guess that kind of sums it up.
Pretty does, yeah, pretty much does.
But right now, I love to love you.
We're like Congress. We fight during the day, but at night we go out to dinner. What's not to love about that?
Yeah, it's just the two of us. Too.
That's right.
Just the two of us.
It's very romantic.
It is. What do you want to show us, Craig?
Well, let's talk about tags, Tom.
Tags? What are you talking about? Price tags or for sales tags? What tags?
Well, I told Tom that if he did an upcharge on everything he sold, like when he sold a dagger, if he would say for an extra $50, you can have one of his tags. And he said no. And then I offered him $50. I bought a sword from you, and I'd love the tag because it would be provenance. Guys, tell us what you think about that.
My secretary, Debbie, would kill me. She wouldn't be able to do the bookkeeping.
If she was going to kill you, she would have already killed you.
She has killed me, I think.
Yeah, okay.
All these years. She's been with me 37 years. That's a long time.
You're dead, you just don't know it.
That's exactly
okay, so
right.
let's talk about military. That's what everybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I love new unissued pieces. I've always loved those since the 90s.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, no, but if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Well, there's something wrong with all of us, but you know.
Well,
I don't need another thing wrong with me.
No, you don't. You're right.
Yeah, I've been working on acquiring various different quality control tags, or merchandising tags, as I prefer to call them, because they're not quality control tags. They're just merchandising tags. You buy sneakers, you get a Nike tag, right? You rip it off, and what do you do with it?
Same thing.
You throw it away.
But the problem is, everybody ripped the tag off and threw them away.
Right.
So where do you find a tag? I mean, those are really, really rare.
Yeah, you don't. But there's some collectors who've been collecting nothing but tags, and I always hunt for them.
Right.
But I've managed to find a guy who had a collection, and he occasionally sells me one or two. And there's some rare ones.
So you got some really, really good tags here. Let me see what. Like, here's a Krebs. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Here's a Justinus. That's a very rare one.
Interestingly, look, there's 3 kinds.
I wonder why.
I had no idea.
Maybe different vintage, or maybe one's a sword, or one's a bayonet, or
Could have been. I bet there was an internal reason for it.
Oh, they didn't do anything for no reason.
No. Germans were very frugal. And these are sort of like universal. It says Solingen Werkarbeit, which is basically German workmanship from Solingen.
So this may have been something that could be on a blade with no maker mark or something like that, or
anything really. I mean, any manufacturer could have used one of these.
Yeah.
I've actually seen these on daggers before, and there's no rhyme or reason for what they would be on.
Would that be the same case with this tag?
Yeah, but this has got, and the string is falling off with this one. This one was found in a group, but there's literature on it. They did a consortium, I think, of 7 manufacturers that got together, and there's a whole article in a period magazine.
Yeah.
And so this fits on 7 manufacturers, and you guys can look that up. I don't remember what they are.
Right.
And then these are really rare. A small horde of these came out. This I didn't get from my contact. I got through another collector.
From Richard Obwerherder.
Yeah, great for an SS dagger.
Let me just ask you, Craig, if someone had a dagger that is basically in unissued condition, and we see them where the vet probably got it unissued through the bag or whatever. Is there any sin in putting the appropriate tag on it when that dagger's in that condition?
Not at all. I think the only
I think
the only sin is taking one off if it comes out with a tag. And no one's ever done that before. Yeah, but you don't want to cut it off. But if you need it for something else, because sometimes you'll find a tag on a dagger that's just crap. I mean, it's old. In that case,
oh, you're right.
You have to just decide.
Yeah.
The other one too that I really like, I've never seen this before. We'll stop for a commercial pause. This is a good one. This is what we're going to do in the basement when we're not drinking. Wow,
you've got to come up.
Yeah, I will.
Figure something out. Something sticky on that question, but I didn't answer it well.
Well, ask me when I come. I'll pretend.
You'll make up something.
So Tom, what is the average screw length of the Eichhorn internal scabbard screw for the left side of the postal leader dagger?
Well, is it the upper screw or the lower screw?
Does it make a difference?
It does.
It does.
The blade may not go in.
This is true. Yeah, the shorter screws. Okay, the shorter screws go on the bottom, right, or the top?
No, the top.
See, okay, I'm glad they didn't record that. Okay, so
we could though.
We could. Okay, so ready?
Ready, Rob?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so where were we, Craig?
We were talking about tags, and we took a commercial break, but a couple things I wanted to point out. First of all, this is really super crazy.
This would be a Wusthof with the trident.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
And look,
what's all this underneath?
Well, that's the RZM code, but it's the triangular tag.
Nice.
Probably before they made the actual triangular RZM tags, just a guess. I've only seen one of these on a dagger.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah. And then that's super rare. I've only seen 2 of these.
Daniel Perez. Boy, if you can find a nice essay by Daniel Perez with the beer barrel on it.
Call us.
And then have the tag. Oh, my goodness.
And then J.A. Schmidt and Zone. That's just also crazy.
Yeah, that's a rare one, too.
And the funny thing is, remember Eichhorn tags?
Yeah.
You never see those anymore.
Well, you do, but they won $1,300 for them.
They do. I'm embarrassed to tell you how much I offered for one just yesterday, and the guy said no.
Well,
and it was more than $1,300 because I needed it. I wouldn't normally pay that much, but
I just want to say, we're talking about, you're saying, who are paper tag, but this is really kind of an important thing and a very valuable thing and kind of significant in the hobby too, because it ties it all together. The same would be true if you had an original issue bag or sack, as they call them, and so as the hobby gets more and more sophisticated, you see people getting into little things that didn't matter before, and now they matter a lot.
2 things on that, Tom. One, do you have any bags for sale?
You mean women or?
No, I mean dagger
okay.
bags.
No.
I know the answer. Yes, you have them. No, they're not for sale.
I have a number of them in my personal collection, and no, they're not.
I'm after them from you forever. And the second thing is don't forget, daggers were a commercial product. These guys are in the business of making money, and so they're going to tag their products just like any other product in the world. So that's something you talk about, remembering these things.
This is a good point.
Yeah.
The tag was there because they wanted to brag about the quality of the product they were producing.
They were in the business to what? Make money.
It's just like Nike.
Yep, exactly. But totally different.
But yeah. Well, we appreciate you dropping by, sir.
You're welcome.
And, I hope that you'll have a good show.
I've already had a good show, and I can't wait to come visit you.
You're welcome anytime.
Well, come to the basement. We'll do an opening together.
Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be great, yeah.
Imagine me and Gottlieb doing a box opening. Holy cow.
What do you drink?
The cheapest whiskey there is.
I'm a Hendrix
Imperial.
man.
Hendrix, that's great
I'll
gin.
drink a gin. So I'll do gin and tonics, and you can do whatever you do.
Oh, sounds good.
Great.
And
Thanks
I
for
hope you
having
don't
me.
mind cigar smoke.
I don't mind.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, collectors, like we usually do at a show, we'll show you some of the things that we have at our stand, and you may even recognize some of the things that came in unboxings or whatever. But we'll go down our stand here. We got a little bit of everything here. We even got an unissued stack of Hitler stamps and lots of nice daggers. DJ knife and a nice Hitler Youth and Red Cross with the social welfare straps. And a beautiful RAD here with the straps. And a super rare RLB. This was the first model officer, and this is one of the rarest Nazi daggers there are. They just don't see them much. And the reason you don't see them much is because when the second model came out, a lot of these were converted to second models. It was easy to do. They just put the second model button on it and put a hanging ramp in the middle. So you don't see a lot of first models. And Land Customs and gravity knives. Some beautiful naval daggers. Another really nice RAD officer, and a Himmler dagger on the top. Everybody should have a Himmler if you're going to have a collection. If you want to get advanced at all, that's a piece to buy. Nice example. And we always like to have a nice array of SA daggers. SAs are really hot these days. Probably 2 years ago, I probably had, I think, about 280 SAs, and that's not the case anymore. They've been really, really hot with collectors. It's a good place to start. You know, you can get into one for a decent one for $800 or $900, and you get an idea of the quality of the German craftsmanship. And once you buy one, you're probably going to be hooked, and you're going to start looking for other things. At least that's the way I find it in this hobby. So we brought a few SAs with us. Sold several of them yesterday. And then we have a lot of miniatures. You may remember on one of the unboxings, we got a collection of miniatures that came from an estate. A lot of cool things here. We have some Axis daggers. There's the Austrian Pilot and the Austrian flak piece. Nice chained SS. And here's a very good partial room SS with a serial number on the crossguard. Very desirable dagger. And we have a couple of rare gorgets. You may have seen them on an unboxing. and some nice Italian fascist pieces. We have the white grip type there was worn by Colonel and above, and you don't see very many of them. Some more, this beautiful fire axe with the etched blade and the original hanger on it, which is really neat. And these are daggers from my bayonets from my personal collection. You may recognize that one in the center with the Totenkopf on it. That comes from Braunschweig, and you collectors may know that in Braunschweig, if you collect Pickelhaube at all spiked helmets, the people from Braunschweig wore the Totenkopf on their Pickelhaube on the faceplate. So there's some really nice things there, stuff that you'll probably never find, so that's why I'm keeping them. So this is just for display. And then some good Luftwaffes and DLV. And we have a nice array of stuff here, everything mixed together. Lots of really kind of rare daggers too. Some of those navies are really rare. There's a Marine NSKK chain on the end. Don't see many of them. And then we're proud to have a couple of SS officers Degen, and I just love the patina, especially on this one, and this one's nicely patinaed too. They're both very long swords too. And this piece is particularly nice too, for the condition is incredible. It's an SS NCO, but it's very rare to see the lacquer still on the ebony grip. It's really hardly shows any use at all. All the black is still in the Wotan's knot, and the scabbard paint is nearly perfect. It's a sword that shows very little wear at all. And there you go. It's a lobster Peter Dan Krebs with the white washer, and we're coming down here, and we've got a very unusual hunting piece here with a very intricate presentation. It was presented to an SA man by the name of Adolf Nagel, and this is a picture of Herr Nagel. It's got an ivory grip and beautiful crossguard fittings. Look at those dog heads. Really, really terrific. It's dated 1942, so it was made fairly late. And then on the opposite side of the blade, it has nice hunting scenes. So that's kind of a special, one-of-a-kind piece. It's very beautiful, which could be really researched a lot more than what it is. We have a nice double decal M35 SS. That's not a helmet you're going to see very often. And some a lot of nice, really nice Army daggers, and we're fortunate enough to find an Army General's here too. The gilding is still really pretty good on it. The Army Generals, most of them, they just wore the regular dagger, but every once in a while we see a gilded one, so that's always a pleasure. And more goodies here, anti-Hitler things, a nice Hitler plaque. Great ashtray here. It's Wellner, I should know that. Wellner ashtray. And Hitler is a skunk. There's a Wellner guy here. They used this in the store display, and he would have a Wellner knife that he was holding, the little gnome. And then we have hunting pieces. Some really terrific hunting pieces, in fact. This is an original deluxe Eichhorn piece. We see a lot of copies of these, but this one is an original. And I like this piece too, with the gold and blue ribbons in it. It was some kind of a gift to a Silesian person, and it was presented by a company that made uniforms. Probably some kind of a contest thing. And this is a forestry with the eagle and swaz and the ferrule. We don't see them too often. It's an original one, not a copy. And then we have our beautiful government officials uniform, 2 pairs of pants, and the greatcoat with it. All hand tailored, just wonderful. Just really terrific. So that's what we're showing today. That's all the room we had, and hope you enjoyed looking at that stuff. And we're going to go around the show and see what else is here and talk to some dealers.
Here's the show once again.
As you can see, collectors, the SOS is really packing them in here. Very large gate. Collectors, we walking through the aisles here, and we saw something pretty interesting that we thought you might like to see. If you look here, no, this is not a political leader. You can see it's a Hitler Youth leader, and this man was a doctor. With the shoulder boards and so forth. The uniform, of course, came back from Germany, where the vet found it in a closet and thought, gee, this is kind of nice. I think I'll send it home. And what's interesting with the outfit too, it's named to the doctor. His name is, probably can't see it on the video, but his name was Heinrich Harprecht. Harpprecht. See, there's a date in there. Yeah, it's dated 39. Beautiful liner, all the buttons intact. Beautiful silver sport badge, and see how the armband is all sewn all to the piece, all the way throughout, and it's just quite a beautiful tunic. Something that you don't see. How many HJ doctors could there have been? So this is really a terrific tunic here. I've never seen one, and I think it's worthwhile to look at, don't you? Yeah. Okay, we're looking here at something that's very nice. Mr. Mike Gaspar here has Gaspar, and for you collectors that don't know, I believe this is an Oak Leaves document.
Oak Leaves large formal.
With a beautiful gilded party eagle on it, and white cover. And is the document inside, sir?
Yes, sir.
Let's just take a look and see what we got here. Still got the paper on it and all, and wow, look at that.
Original signature.
Original Hitler signature. It does look original, yeah. And it's to a Heinz Strelo.
Hunt Strelo, fighter pilot.
Oh, he was a fighter pilot.
Youngest Oak Leaves winner. Crashed behind lines and committed suicide because they didn't want to go to POW camp.
Oh boy, that's kind of a sad story, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Boy, what a beautiful document. I can't even imagine what that's worth. That's really, really, really nice.
Thank you.
Collectors, you could probably retire on this baby, or at least get a couple of years in.
Not quite.
I appreciate you
Yes,
showing
sir.
me. Really nice. You had mentioned these documents were interesting too. Well, this man was
This man was a paratrooper,
Paratrooper.
on the West Front.
yeah.
At one point, he was put in for the Oakleys, didn't get it. But what's really interesting with this grouping here, you have his personnel file.
Yeah.
It's a post-war picture here signed by him.
Right.
Knight's Cross preliminary certificate. And what's really interesting is that he had the close combat clasp in bronze.
Wow. And how about
And
these?
over
Look
here-
like they're all to the same man, are
That's
they?
correct, yes, sir. Here we have an FW-190 Schlachtflieger
Is this
pilot.
him?
That's him. It's, Klaus Riebecke. He was killed in action.
Yeah.
And what's really nice with this group, he's got the clasp with pendant. Very similar to the fighter clasp. Instead of the arrow up, arrow is down.
Yeah, you don't see that.
Right.
That's a rare document there.
Let me go ahead and pull that out here so you can see that a little bit
That's a
better.
very rare document.
It is. Yeah. And it's signed by KIA Swords winner Druschel. And you can see right here where it says Schlachtflieger and Destroyers. And then after this, they went to the Spange with the cross swords.
I see.
And then as
Frontflug Spange for Jäger.
for Jäger, and then underneath it says Schlachtflieger und Zerstörer.
Yeah. In gold,
In gold with pendant.
mit Anhänger.
Correct.
Wow, these are some great documents.
Thank you.
All come from the family, did they?
Came from his brother.
Yeah.
And there's, if you notice, there's two East Front documents here.
Yeah.
One is to the veteran, and the other one was to his brother.
See, collectors, you can go to a lot of shows around the country, but you're never going to see anything this quality. You have to come to the SOS to really see things that you just never ever see before. And these guys are not newbies in the hobby. They know what they're doing. They're doing this a long time,
Sir.
and they really appreciate what these things are. I could just tell by talking to you, you love these things.
Absolutely.
I can tell. And who wouldn't?
That's correct.
Congratulations on that stuff. And,
All right.
thanks a lot for telling
Thanks,
me
sir.
what to do. And give my regards to Bruce. I haven't seen him. in a
I
long
definitely
time.
will.
He's one of my old buddies. You know,
He's a good man.
I think I gave him about 8 Army daggers when he first started the auction.
Yeah.
And I think he got all of about $120 a piece for each of them because his auction wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I must be with the wrong company here.
Well, maybe you should start throwing in some daggers now.
Well, I see the you guys have done a terrific job, and the auction is growing,
Yeah.
it's well known, and the record for quality stuff is there too.
Yep.
I don't hear anything about bad things. So, and when we see stuff like this, thanks again.
Thank you, Tom.
Appreciate it. Good guys.
Thanks, sir. Left side or right side?
Well, collectors, we're looking at some stuff here. What's your name, son?
Pete Purvis.
Pete Purvis, all right.
He knows me by name.
I know your name too. I've seen it on the records.
Thanks.
It's nice to see you. Thanks for coming to the show. And Pete's got as you can see, a chained SS here. It's a pretty decent example. It's got the what we call the Type 1 chain, where you can see through the clover leaf and see that DRGM that we like to see. Beautiful ebony grip here that's in great shape.
One chip.
Where's
right
it?
here.
Oh yeah, one little chip there, but we can forgive that, I think.
I did.
Yep. And the scabbard pane is all original. Shows a little age, but not too bad. All nickel mounts. And then what's interesting here, has a standard SS blade. But this is something you'll probably never seen before. I never have, but I'll set it on here. Maybe the camera can pick it up. But the original owner looks like he engraved all of his information into the blade. It's done with one of those
Electric
little
pencil.
dot printers that you see sometimes, and that, to me, I've never seen anything as outrageous as that. This guy must have been kind of an egomaniac, but there you go. And with that kind of information, Pete, you can do a lot of stuff, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you may not like what you see there with that engraving, but it is real, and it was done by the original owner of the dagger, because nobody else would do such a thing. So we just know that it's original. So that's a cool thing. What's this other stuff? Just
That's his World War I ribbon bar, and he's got a sports badge, and then he's got a War Merit medal.
how did you get that? All came with
It
the
all
dagger?
came together
Where did you get this piece?
from a friend in St. Augustine, Florida.
Wow. Well, I kind of enjoyed that. It's fun to see stuff that's a little different. And I love to see stuff where everybody's going to say, oh, that's no good.
Well, that's why I came to you.
Yeah. It's interesting too, this cross guard, see how fat it is? That was made by
It's also steel. It's magnetic.
yeah, it's magnetic. They're the only producers that did that, and that is original too. I can't remember who it is offhand, but whenever you see that heavy cross guard, get your magnet out and you'll find out it's magnetic. Well, that was a real pleasure to look at that stuff, Pete.
Well, thank you very much.
I wish you well with it, and don't let anybody con you out of that dagger. That's a good piece.
Okay, well, my kids will have to get rid of it.
All right, that's good.
Maybe later than sooner.
Yeah. Well, if I outlive you, tell them to call me, will you?
Okay, will do. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming, and I appreciate your business over the years, too.
You're welcome. I'll be back.
All right, we got another fella here. It's kind of busy out front of our booth here. And what is your name, sir?
It's Albert Thomas.
Albert Thomas?
Yes, sir.
And you're a collector, are you?
I am. I've been about 6 years.
What's that?
About 6 years.
6 years. Well, you ought to have some idea what you're doing by now. And what did you bring to show me?
I got two swords for you to look at, Tom.
Oh, I like swords.
I think you'll like these.
Well, let me see what you got. Oh, here we go.
It's actually personalized too. It's got his SS number on the back strap.
Well, let's see. As you can see, collectors, we're looking at an SS officer Dagen. It's got a good nickel finish to it. The grip is still in very handsome condition. What is this little stuff here I'm seeing?
This is his SS number and this is his name.
I see that. Let's get the camera get that. See, collectors, now this is very unusual to see something like this, but when it was on the back of the Dagen, you know, that was kind of what you would do. If they put it on the front like that, it wouldn't have been kosher. So, or I shouldn't say kosher with the SS.
Right.
But you get the idea. So these are all nickel mounts. Scabbards in good condition. Original paint. It's an unmarked blade, as we often see on these with a white washer. It's a nice sword. Now, have you managed to look up the owner?
I have. I did the research by Ross. I can't think of his last name.
Kilbow.
He did the research for him. He was actually a pretty high-ranking officer. He also attended battles. So he was a pretty particular officer.
What was his rank, do you know? Or Sturmbannführer or something like that?
What's the one that has the 3 pips and the actual silver stripe?
That's a Hauptsturmführer.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of it.
Yeah. Hauptsturmführer. Yeah, well, that's a nice sword. You did good there.
Thank you.
You got no problem there. What else you got?
All right, here's the last one here.
That's really nice with the owner's engraving on the...
I thought it was, too.
I like that a lot. I've never seen that before. You ever see that, Johnny? Yeah. Pretty cool. Can't go wrong when you got something like that. That's uh-oh, boy, look at this. Oh my, here we go, collectors. This is kind of is it a Blucher? I forget the model. I think it's a Blucher.
Right.
And as you can see, it's a panther head. And we got those green eyes, beautiful silvering. The grip is in really nice condition. The knot looks good on it. I don't know whether it's original to it, but it really looks good on it.
It gets interesting because it does have a number on it.
Where's the number?
Right here on the top of the cross guard.
Oh, I see.
It's kind of funky how it's stamped out a little bit.
Yeah, if you can get that on the camera, Hob. I think it's an SS number.
It comes back to a Gunther Pankey. He was head of the SS police in Denmark. If it's truly his.
Well, I don't see why somebody would do that.
Well, the only thing that had my concern, Tom, was the fact that it was stamped out a little bit. It's like the numbers looked kind of off, but...
Well, that's why it's good, because it was personally done probably by the guy, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
He wrote his number on there. Yeah, well, this is quite a piece. Very original. Love the green eyes, and then you researched the guy. He was in Denmark, though. He was assigned there. Yeah. Wow. It's interesting too. I think you usually see this eagle turn the head to turn the other way, don't you?
You do.
Yeah. See, that's something that you only see early collectors. I don't know whether you noticed that, but the eagle's looking to the right. And it's kind of funny with the Nazi party. They could never figure out which way they wanted the eagle's head to go. So you see them both directions. But on early stuff like this, that's what you see. Then they change the head around a little later. And what's great about seeing something like that, you know, we like to say, oh, this must have been an early sword before the official Degen came out. And everybody says that, oh yeah, because it's silver, that's what it is and all. But when you see something like that, that head looking the other way, they only made that early on. So that's kind of like the true Kiss Euro original. It's true. And that's what you want. I mean, a sword like this is worth $7,000-8,000, something like that, every bit of it. And you want to be able to look at that baby and just kind of feel really, really good inside, because I would. So that's a great piece. I love that.
It is the Icon, the early double oval too.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, see it.
Yeah, here we go too. This is another thing. It's got the 33 to 35 trademark on there. So there we go. Even if you didn't know a damn about which way the sword head's going, you could tell by the trademark. So that's a double dose of reality. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I must say you're doing a pretty good job here with your collecting. This is the kind of stuff that I just love to see. It's all right. It's advanced. It's the kind of stuff that you can sell to anybody, and that's where you want to be in this hobby sometimes. And it only happens if you buy good condition, original items like this. And then when they become rare on top of it, boy, that's where you want to be.
It's a cherry on top.
Yep. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Shooting center, hang on.
Yeah. This all came from John Davis, and this was his uncle's in his uncle's collection with the quarter P.
Quarter P is real.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here we are, Royal Collectors. We had a lovely couple come up here. What is your name, sir?
It's Tim the Brewer.
Tim Brewer. I don't care about that. What is your name?
Lori Music.
Lori, okay. It's good. Are you just accompanying this person to make people talk to him? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, you brought some neat stuff over here. We're just you're gonna say, there's another one of those SMF miniatures, you know.
Yeah.
But for people that collect miniatures, you all recognize this. It's a typical SMF looking piece. But if you look kind of closer, did you notice that this has a gilded swastika on it?
I did when I picked it up.
So that's kind of what attracted you.
That and the porta-pee.
And the porta-pee. We do see porta-pees, but usually they're all worn out. This one is not worn out because the dagger looks like the miniature looks like it's never been anywhere. When you look at something like this, I always look at the back of the crossguard and just look how much of the original darkening is back there. That's a sign that this is really, it's been in a box someplace or whatever for 80 years. The grip is absolutely perfect. Originally it was this color, this lighter yellow color, and over the years it has toned a little bit, but this was the original color. These were made out of like a celluloid, and celluloid reacts to light and things like that and changes color. So sometimes it makes things more beautiful than they were to begin with, so nature kind of gives us a little gift there, you know. And the scabbard, the typical SMF scabbard, see how flat they are? That was how they made them. And I'm saying all this, but I don't know if it's an SMF. We better take a look, or I'll look like a fool after all this. Oh, thank God, it's an SMF. There we go. You know, the SMF is the king sitting over the initials, and they always have DRGM, and that is the abbreviation for a patent pending on the design. So you can't really, I'm acting like I'm real smart about this, but you can't go on, because when you see this design, it could have only been made by SMF because they had a patent on it. And then when you look at the blade, it's got it etched into the nickel finish. Look at the nickel finish too. It's just incredible. It says Wolfram, and most likely Wolfram was some kind of a company. Who knows what they were associated with, because that's all we have is just their name. But just collectors, you're going to say there's no such thing as an SMF with gilded swastikas. However, have you ever seen an SMF in this condition? So I'm going to venture to say that I'll bet you they all had that at one time, and nobody's ever seen one in this condition. That's why it's on there. So I know you told me earlier that this was purchased for a mere $650, and in this condition, I believe it's approaching $1,000. So you did pretty good here. That'll at least pay for the gas.
It will. We're about halfway home.
Yeah. You got some other things here too. You must have pretty good taste. This is a land customs piece. And is that a custom? Yeah, that's a customs officer cap.
So I found the cap first, and then I said, well, we have to find a land customs dagger to go with it.
Well, you did. Don't you like people like that? If you're a dealer, you have something that, oh, well, that ties in with it. Before you know it, you could sell 10 different things that all tied in. So what is so incredible about this, I know you guys have all seen land customs and so forth, and you see the knot, oh, that knot's phony, and you know, because they're always phony. One thing about this is you can take to the bank. You'll see that it's got what we call the cat's ass insert. You recognize that if you have a cat? When that tail goes up, there it is. A knot like this is just ultra rare. They're never original, and this is the first one I've seen that I believe is original. And it's kind of nice, it has just a little bit of fray here that probably happened where it was originally carried that way too. So an outstanding piece, and the hangers that go with it look like the hangers that have always been with it. They're in remarkable condition. Got the green felt on the back. And what's kind of cool, this little belt loop. I've never seen that before. It's very interesting. So this guy must have worn this from a very thin, probably an under the tunic type of belt. And if you lift the pocket up on the left side of these tunics, you'll see there's a tailor-made little slit there where the hangers went up and this hooked on to the belt underneath so that it looked nice, you know. So I don't know, let me see this cap. Well, they don't come much better than that, collectors. See, you can tell it's a customs right away because see how the eagle's wings go up in the air? That's customs. And it's interesting, the cap cords too, mix the green with it. leather on the brim. It's still got that patent leather, you know, that usually cracks and it's, you know, it's a mess. Beautiful wreath. Oh, look at here, yeah. See the inside, the diamond is there. All the stitching is still on the diamond. The sweatband is still in good condition. That's a lovely hat. Very high quality. It's that nice, what we call doe-skin wool. No mothing on it. So, I mean, I don't know you guys, but I know already that you're not going to put something over on it because you buy the best. And apparently you know what the best is. So collectors, when you see stuff like this, don't just go, there's Wittmann again, just showing up. This is the kind of stuff, if you can afford it, that you want to buy. Because it's always highly saleable and the values go up over the years. Like I always tell people, you're not spending money. You get to enjoy it for 20 years or whatever, and then you not only get your money back, but you make a profit. How many things are like that? You want to go and invest in the stock market and shake your hands every time you open the newspaper to see where you're at.
Lately.
Especially lately, yes. Or you want to invest in something that's really solid. You know, they always say when times are bad, right now you guys probably know the Russian business with Ukraine is going on. These are not solid times. It's time to be afraid of things. And that's when people say, well, maybe I should invest in material things because they're always going to be there. We don't know what the value of money is going to be. So you've done a terrific job.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate seeing that because I love quality and good women.
Yes.
That had something to do with him too. I wouldn't have had him over here if it weren't for her. You know that. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you.
I don't mean to offend you.
I really enjoy what you do and enjoy your shows.
Thank you very much, and I wish you well. Well, collectors, here we are, and as we always like to show, my friend Walter Kanzler.
Hi, Tom.
Walter, how you doing? Good. You had a good show, did you?
Excellent. Unbelievable.
It's really marvelous with all this gate.
Places so many people.
Wow, it's just terrific.
Yesterday, today,
Yeah.
it's been really a surprise.
And I know you
Obviously,
bought some good
COVID
things,
is
too.
over.
COVID is over. Yeah, remember that, collectors. COVID's over.
Still a few guys that won't come because of it. But
Well, Walter's my friend, and I always like to have Walter on here. Some people, other people, we love Walter. It doesn't matter to me. Walter's my friend. Walter has a lot of cool things, and I hope you enjoy seeing it. So here we are.
thank you, Tom.
At Warner.
Check this
We're
out.
looking here.
First one I ever had.
See, now this is, collectors, you're probably looking at that and saying, wow, I've never seen anything like that. What is it, Russian or Middle East?
English
or
has the Mameluke
even?
style.
Yeah. But you have to remember that Turkey was connected with Germany
In World War
as
I.
an ally
Yeah.
in World War I. And I've had World War I naval swords
Yeah, and
that were
daggers.
and daggers that were identical to the German type, but with the Turkish thing. But this is their full cultural look.
Yes, this style.
This style is their cultural style, and this is quite a beautiful piece. Look at how
usually they're so cheaply made and
No, this is really a good
this is
thing.
the opposite.
No, this is a high quality item. But when we take the blade out, I mean, you look at the hilt; it's beautiful. But the blade, you'll recognize right away with the crescent and the star. So this is a very historical thing. Constantinople. What you know is that was the
Istanbul.
capital.
Istanbul. Yeah.
Istanbul was formerly Constantinople, and I think at the going back to Christ's time, weren't they the original?
Constantinople.
Yep.
Well, it was the original capital of the
Right. Right.
eastern half of the Roman Empire.
Yeah. So just think of the history and look at the beautiful etching here. I don't know, Walter, but I would bet almost anything that this is a German.
Oh, I think this is a retailer in Constantinople.
But the plating and the etching, I think, is
it's
German.
Yeah.
See how well done it is? So it's let me just draw it all the way out. That's really quite a beautiful blade.
Yeah, a typical German.
Yeah,
German
so
quality.
it's the kind of thing where, you know, you guys that enjoy the quality of German swords, and then if you plug in the history of the relationship with Turkey and Germany, why wouldn't you like to have a representative piece like that in your collection?
Well, they had
I
German
would.
officers commanding troops in
See,
World War I.
if you didn't know that stuff, I mean, it's very very interesting. So I like that.
I bought that Wednesday afternoon when the show was unpacking, and then yesterday the guy comes by the table.
And we never see these swords.
I've never had one before.
And here we
with
go.
the original knot.
This knot comes from the original World War I era,
Yes.
or slightly before maybe.
Ottoman Empire. Yeah.
Ottoman Empire. I mean, how
Little
many of
blue
those
stripe,
could there be
yeah.
around? And look
Yeah.
at the condition of it. Yeah, it does have a blue
Take a look
mix
at
in it.
Oh, you can tell the guys about that.
Well, if you look at the hilt and the scabbard mounts, they're very similar to the other one, but very beautiful, done in brass and gilded. And look at all the engraving in there. Hey, I know it's not a Third Reich piece, but you know, you guys, you kind of got to get
Or
into
Imperial.
Or Imperial. Learning the history is very important.
The scabbard's a little bit weak, so watch.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you got to be careful with it. But there we go again. There's the Ottoman Empire with the crescent. So it's a
And Constantinople.
Constantinople, yeah. So it's kind of a rare thing. I mean, I don't know how many collectors really want a piece like that. But to me, I like to know about.
This is something
all
I
the,
take to Europe because there are Turkish guys and collectors in Europe who go nuts for that.
Yeah, I agree. That's an interesting piece. All right, now Walter, there's one more piece. I mean, we're talking about all this Ottoman Empire and stuff nobody knows anything about.
I know.
Do you have the Third Reich piece that you could show us that's kind of interesting?
Well, better than interesting. At last week at Allentown, a guy had this under his table. Have you ever had one?
No. This is really wonderful. You can see it's a leopard head with glass eyes, and you're there. Yeah. I've seen that a million times, but wow, what is with that eagle?
That's such an SS-looking eagle, but with a gold swastika,
Gold swastika.
which is peeking through the center.
The eagle, I'm not sure, but I think the eagle was separately applied.
Yeah.
It's not part of the casting.
And the swastika was there already.
Yeah, let's see how they contrasted the swastika with the patina of the eagle. And you say, oh, that just got that way over years. No, I think it was made that way to
I originally
contrast.
had the feeling that it might be an SS piece. However,
I don't think it's
we
SS.
all know that they're only silver.
Yeah. It's a holler, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you look, collectors, in the Holler catalog, one of the things that Holler did a lot, they put 2 diamonds next to the eagle on their standard pieces. So this, they basically used a standard hilt, but yet thought that maybe there's a market if they put a contrasting eagle in it. And probably a very small market.
I mean, one of them you'll see, other ones you'll see with the big shield, like the After Corps fifth helmet looking shield.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but this is unique.
It's very special, and for people that like, you know, rare variations.
Unusual,
yeah. I've been doing this a long time, Walter. I've never seen this.
Me neither.
All right, guys, we're strolling around the SOS show, and we ran into this small fella here. He's got to be nice to me, or else I'm going to take him out in the parking lot and kick his butt.
Wouldn't be hard.
You all know Wayne Teckett, I think. Wayne's our world-known expert on etched bayonets, and he's got his usual fantastic display here. If you're looking for something that's real and guaranteed and in top-notch condition, Mr. Teckett is your man. He has some wonderful things here. Nothing but the best. Beautiful etches. This is one you don't see too much with the.
That's a special one.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you why it's special.
Tell us. Was it made for the HJ? Was it made for the NPEA? Was it the SA?
Honor, Strength, and Freedom bayonets were awarded.
That's what it says on the blade. Honor, Strength, and Freedom.
Were awarded to the students that graduated from the 5 NS schools throughout Germany. And when they came out, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but when they came out and were awarded those pieces, they were all NCOs or higher.
I didn't know that.
The reason that I deducted that is because they're all short. You never see a long one.
Yeah, I've never seen a long one.
Never seen a long one.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, so they were all NCOs or higher. And
let me just interrupt and say the NS schools were political schools for bringing potentially good people to come into the party. So these really have nothing to do with the Hitler Youth, the NPEA.
no, pull that, would you?
Yeah. And I have seen them made by Henkels, I was just going to say. Usually they're Eichhorn, so there's a Henkels piece.
Well, here's the thing about this particular piece. As Tom just said, Eichhorn had the contract for these things. Okay, a Henkels salesman happened to get an order for these. Now, Henkels did not have etched bayonets. They did not have dress bayonets for sale. They had the daggers, some daggers and so on, but not bayonets. Okay, so when the salesman took the order, I'm sure he was bawled out by the head of Henkels. But Henkels gave this contract to Eichhorn to finish it.
Because they just put their name on it?
They just stamped their name on the back.
Is there any difference whatsoever in the etch?
No,
so
that's
you know
how I know.
the same etcher had to do it. Yeah.
Exactly, and we know it had to be Eichhorn.
See, these are little tidbits. For years, these bayonets have been around, and since nobody really knew what they were or what they were for, they kind of languished, you know. Well, I don't know whether I want to buy that or not because nobody knows what it is. And as you guys realize in collecting Third Reich things, if nobody knows what it is or what it was for, it's not something that you want to. But then once things are established, and you're right, there is a contract that exists. And I believe the initial order was for 200 of these, I believe, from Eichhorn.
That would sound right. Yeah. Maybe 200 for one of the schools.
Right.
But there were 5 schools, and Eichhorn had the contract for all of them until a Henkel salesman, who is probably now, after he took this order, on the Eastern Front.
For causing trouble.
For causing trouble, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we know this is all, tiny little facts and things like that. It may bore you to death, but the guys that are really interested in this stuff, like Wayne and I, we find that very interesting.
Terribly interesting.
It ties in another little thing, and what else do we got here that's really super?
Well, super would be this piece. Now,
everybody loves those long eagles. Yeah.
Now we know that this is a Robert Klaas eagle. Now Robert Klaas is the only one that had.
It doesn't say Robert Klaas on that blade.
I'm coming to that.
All right.
Okay. This is a pre-1938 etch, and how do we know that? Because it has the angle on it. Okay.
When you say the angle, what are you talking about?
The angle on the blade, on the etch.
Oh, the way it sweeps down like that.
That's right.
Yeah, I never even noticed that. See, you notice all these things.
After 1938, Robert Klaas went with the potted plant bookends. Now you named those the potted plant bookends. Yeah. But before 38, they had the angle. Okay.
That's very interesting. I didn't realize that.
Now, here's something else that is interesting to me. This is a G. Grapeful. Okay.
Grafat.
Grafat? Okay, thank you.
Not a grateful, it's a grafat.
Grafat. So Robert
And
Klaus.
I'm mispronouncing it too, so we're both mispronouncing it.
So, anyhow, Robert Klaus made this for Grafat.
Yeah.
Okay, what is interesting is in my book, in the volume that even the one that's been revised, I only have one etched bayonet by Grafat.
Really?
Only one, and it is the Robert Klaus Eagle, and it's a long one. This is a very rare trademark on any etched bayonet to include.
It is.
Yeah, it is
I will
terribly.
vouch for that collector. That is
And you can eat off that blade.
Have you been eating off of it?
No, I'm a little small. But anyway, everything in here really has a story as to why. Even this one is from Bad Cannstatt. It was a Panzer Abwehr.
I've seen this, and I suspect some sharp salesman visited their garrison. And
Well, it was a huge transportation area for military, the Bad Cannstatt area, and this was put out as citationed and purchased by the soldiers there.
That's a beautiful etch. Look at the collectors. When you see the frosting in the background jump like that, that is really desirable. Because, you know, these things have been in and out of the scabbard for 80 years, and it's amazing to find one in that kind of condition. Leave it to Wayne, you know, because he wanted to eat off of it. That's why he got it.
You're fun. So anyway, these are all in my new revised book. This one came out in 2002, and it's been sold out now for about 4 years.
Yeah.
So last week, or about 2 weeks ago, I had this one put together. It has new and revised information in it, but it is all the same as in here.
Are any of my pieces in there, Wayne?
Yes, your pieces
Oh,
are
thank goodness.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And it has even a bonus chapter.
Oh, good. No, that looks really extensive.
It is.
So,
It's a lot
for all
thicker
the
than that.
people that are heartbroken that the first book is sold out, they can buy this and basically get all the information.
All of
plus-
that information,
plus more.
right, is in this one. And don't forget the addendum.
Yeah, what is the addendum? What's that about?
That's the one you opened up down in the cell.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Here are 8 chapters on etched bayonets, different titles and so on. It has the shoot and shell etch from EPAC and Son, which a lot of people think is fake, which is not
it's
fake.
not fake.
Yeah, it's not fake.
Yeah, I love that. It's cool. Pack made some great etches, didn't they?
They did, absolutely.
I love the Pack etches.
And there are some naval etches in here, which one is dedicated to U-boat 679.
Well, then that's the second naval bayonet that I
That's
know
the
of.
second one. And here it is at the bottom of the ocean. 679, actual photograph. And of course we know this one comes from your dad, Robbie.
That looks familiar.
Yeah,
Wayne.
it better look familiar.
You're not getting it. I'm
Yeah.
keeping it. I'm sorry.
You're a sorehead. Anyway, we've got to collect is to display. We've got a lot of different displays here. The good and the bad, which is another chapter on reproductions and how to spot them. Just a lot of special order bayonets.
I like the size of the text too. I can actually read that.
Yeah.
The older you get, the bigger the text has to be, you know.
This is an interesting chapter, Tom. A personal observation. And this is something that I would like you to read because I'd like to get your opinion on this. Okay?
I don't always agree with you.
I know that you don't, which is why I want you to read it.
Oh, okay. You're trying to get me to always agree with you.
But anyway, these have been known. They're very, very rare to find. bayonets, and it was always suggested that these were pre-1930.
Because they're not in the catalog.
They're not in the catalog.
That's the problem. The collectors go, oh, it's not in the catalog, it can't be right.
But-
Hey, you.
But what if?
How are you, Tom? Good.
But what if these were actually going into their next catalog?
Oh, that's what. Then the
That's
war came
possible.
out. And,
Yeah,
this
well,
is what- this is
yeah.
how it goes. Yeah,
So-
that's what I would think. So,
There-
if you say that in the chapter, I agree with that. Okay.
Well, then we agree on something.
Yeah. We
So
do.
the stock connection, I've got an awful lot in here. Now, if you would like to order either book, this one happens to be $65. It's the hardcover. This one is spiraled, and the reason it's spiraled is because it's so darn thick.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
I couldn't possibly order 500 of these and have it in my.
I'd rather
my
have a
personal-
spiral copy because my personal copy of this book is all falling apart. It's all in pieces. Every time I pick it up, I lose a page, and so I should get one of those.
Well, and you can order either of these books at my website, which is vonryensexpress.com,
Just like the movie.
just like the movie, and it says Militaria, and there are easy directions on how to get either of the books. And
Okay, you owe me $1,000 now for that ad. It's cheap.
Okay, you ready? Go ahead.
Okay, we're all set here, collectors, and we're kind of at the end of the great SOS show. And look who we ran in here. Do you guys remember my friend Alex from Russia?
Yes, I'm Alex.
Yeah,
I'm from Worcester.
a very nice man.
Thank you.
We know each other a couple of years now, something like that.
Probably since 15.
That long? Well,
Yeah.
the time goes by
Yeah.
so fast. You know. Well, it must be a little old because you have a little bit of gray in that.
Yes,
in that
yes.
beard. So you-
Since 15.
Yeah. So how have you enjoyed the show?
Oh, that's a great show, and I found some interesting material. I can't find so much like it was before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
because it's not so
Well,
much.
business has been so good. that,
Yes, yes.
I have a
Exactly.
problem trying to keep rare daggers because they just go immediately as soon as you
Yeah.
get them. So it's hard to build an inventory up again. I remember the days where I'd have 6 or 8 government officials and 5 or 6 postals, and but it's just not today.
I remember it too.
Yeah, you
Some
were
of them
my
I
house.
bought.
Yeah. I think they all wound up inside of your box.
Yeah.
And off you went back to Russia with my daggers.
Yeah.
I hope you did well with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
What did you buy here that you might like to show us?
Here I brought back I brought 2 swords. I want to
What
show
kind
you.
of swords are they?
One is German officer sword. It's a Saxony one, and with a history background. One is
when he says from Saxony, he's talking about the imperial time
Yeah.
under the Kaiser. And as you collectors probably know, the imperial swords were beautifully made, which you will see because Alex will show you.
I'm
What
dying
else?
to show you.
Yeah. What else? What else?
And one admiral sword. I surprised that I found it here, and this is admiral sword, Japanese imperial period, end of 19th century.
Well, we'd like to see these things.
Yeah.
Where are they?
Over here.
Right here. Ah, just happened to be here. Yeah.
What a surprise!
What a
So this
surprise,
one is
yeah.
this one is heavy, so it could be German one.
This is the Saxon sword.
Yeah.
Now let's show the people. When you see this star on the languette, this means that it was part of a guard regiment, which was directly under the command of the Kaiser and kind of an elite troop. And then we look over here, and then we know right away when we see this, it looks like a beehive, I think. This is Saxony. So the hilt, something that you don't see, the color of the grip is almost like it was when it was new. Most of the time after 100 years, over 100 years, the grips don't look like that. So somebody had this well stewarded. And just for edification too, the Saxons used a green color. So I think this knot is probably original to it.
Yes.
You think it is?
But definitely original.
Definitely, okay.
Here,
So then, oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Look at this, collectors. Oh, and look at the spine on it too. You can see, I hope, that this is a beautiful, we call this a band pattern damask, I think.
how to say it in English? Band?
Band, B-A-N-D.
Okay.
I always describe it as if you've ever been to Atlantic City and bought a Turkish taffy, and when you pull the Turkish taffy apart, it looks like that. So what does this all say, Alex? It's very impressive. You don't know.
I know.
Okay.
You want me to say?
Yeah, I wish you would. Yeah, collectors
Yeah.
would be interested in it.
This is from one person to another person, from one officer to
Yeah.
another officer.
Yeah.
When he retired in Saxony, Infantry Regiment number 107.
Well,
So
if you look up 107, you should find that was
Yes.
a guard regiment.
Yeah, and exactly that guy has been awarded by highest rank award in Saxony. And I will film video about this sword because I have a lot of information. It's a full file of papers and and proofs. So
What's on the reverse of the blade?
reverse of the blade, you can
beautiful.
see, beautiful panel.
You see
Is,
Ectomast and Eisenhower. When you see the word Eisenhower, that's not President Dwight D. Eisenhower. That was the word the Germans used for the best of steel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll see that a lot on Imperial swords. For some reason, you don't see it on Third Reich swords. I don't know why, but. And then the maker mark is interesting too. Is not, yeah. Who was the maker on this sword?
Waldklief Zollinger. And also we can see here on the
On the languette.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stamped
It's also
also.
stamped.
Yeah. But
It's a
look
nice
at the beautiful damask, and the quill back is just really really sensational. And what also is nice about this, we see a lot of nickel scabbards on Imperial swords, but rarely do we see one in this condition.
Yeah.
So I know, with looking at the grip, looking at this, that somebody put this away in a blanket or something for many years. So I think that's a wonderful sword.
Thank you.
It's probably worth coming all the way over from Russia just to get that. But I know you got a lot of other things too.
Yeah. Actually, this one goes to Europe.
Goes to Europe?
Yes, back to Europe.
Well, it's
Yeah.
going home then.
Yes.
All right, and now Alex wants to show us the second sword that he's purchased here at the show. And I don't recognize this immediately. What kind of a sword is it? Japanese?
This is Japanese sword, General Admiral rank. Japanese Navy sword.
So it's a naval sword.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. This type it was end of 19th century and probably until the Russo-Japanese War.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. And I will explain.
What was that, 1906 or something like that?
Russo-Japanese War won 1904, 1905.
Okay.
Yeah. And Admiral is high rank, and this.
Well, there is no higher. That's it.
Yes, and this one is very, very beautiful finishing here. All details are has handmade finishing.
Yeah.
Yes, and burnishing on flowers, burnishing on.
I see we have the little, I call them chrysanthemums, but everybody says that's not what they are, but they look like chrysanthemums to me. That was the emblem of the Japanese imperial family.
Yeah, and
beautiful leather on it too.
yeah. Nobody.
That's amazing.
Nobody beat it.
after over 100 years, and look, the grain is still there, and there's no hits anywhere. It's really, really nice.
And it's very important. And every I don't know how to say it correctly, but borders of details are burnishing also.
I call this kind of like a scalloped. Scalloped, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. And what we can see here, this part,
Yeah.
this symbol, it calls like it says that it's general rank
Oh, I see.
sword. So we can.
So how did you know this was a general rank? Did you recognize the flower? Or?
Yes, yeah, admiral. And
Or admiral, I'm sorry.
yeah, I call admirals generals often too. Sorry, but
That's
this
all right,
one,
I'm not offended.
but here we can see in books
Yeah,
recognizing. Yeah.
yeah,
So if we open it, we'll be surprised twice.
yeah.
Yes, because
Surprised the first time you can't get it out. That's the first surprise. Oh, there we go.
this one also goes to Europe.
Yeah, yeah.
And here we can see special type of blade. This is a traditional type of blade. We can see this shape.
Little
of,
fuller here.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like shape, the same style like oldest
Yeah.
Japanese sword.
I see it has like a temper line too.
Yeah. And temper line is the second part because this is original temper line.
Yes.
And on the sword, this kind of swords, we can't see original temper line very often. So it's oil made like not traditional.
Extra
here,
cost.
yeah, this one is traditional made with a special shape of this part of blade.
That's
So-
very beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Condition is extraordinary.
Yeah, it's really museum piece. This is the best piece I found on this show. I'm proud myself I found it, and I'm glad you like it also.
I like it. Just generally, what is something like that worth? I have no idea. I know it
there
must
is
be an important
yes.
sword. So
There is different prices for it. If it will be just regular officer, sword navy officer, it costs maybe around 8,000. But this one is so for me it's priceless.
it's
so
worth what somebody would pay for it.
yes,
Yeah.
because it has several things in every detail. Like it's very high quality handle with Admiral insignia.
And it's one of a kind. I mean,
yes,
it's
yes.
completely
So that's
unique.
why. Yeah.
So you keep that yourself, maybe?
Unfortunately not, because it's guys ask me to find some items, and sometimes I find it.
You were finding
yes.
it for somebody else.
Yes, and sometimes I buy from you to send it to somebody else just for you know, like is there collector's agent?
An adjective?
No, like agent when somebody asks.
Agent.
Agent.
You're the agent for a collector.
For some people, yeah. And I'm trying to do video blog also and tell about this
Well,
stuff.
if you do a good job as their agent, then you'll find out you can become the agent for many people. And that's a good thing, you know?
Like you. It was probably you involved a lot of people to the hobby.
I do,
After you wrote your books.
Yeah.
So.
Now with the videos that we're doing, I keep getting people come up and say, "Oh, you Mr. Wittmann?" Yeah, I'm Mr. Wittmann. "Oh, you're so small," they say. "I thought you were a big man." I said, "Well, on the television set, I might look big, but no, I'm a little man."
Get it.
It's funny, you know.
Yeah, that's true. That's funny.
It's kind of neat to come to a show, and I get so many people that just come over because I saw you on the video. I saw you. I want to shake your hand, and it's nice. You know, it makes you feel like you're really starting to become a community. You know.
Yes, I agree.
And many people have told me that they watch my videos. and they start collecting
Yeah.
just because of that. And I'm sure with you too, you find
Yes.
the same thing.
Same thing.
When the general audience sees these videos and they can sense that you're an honest man, I'm an honest man, we're trying to help the collecting community, and that's what they're looking for. Because they're always afraid to deal with somebody they don't know. So they know us, so they think it's a good thing, and it is a good thing.
And we can show our knowledge, and that's very important also. So.
Well,
And I really appreciate every viewer, every subscriber who leave under video and here in the show feedback. Because it's
well, it helps you.
Yes,
Helps you
yes.
If there's something you're not doing right, they'll tell you about it. Oh, will they tell you about it? And then you can improve. So.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what we're trying to do. So if you have stuff that you think, we're all stupid or we're doing the wrong thing, tell us about it and we'll try to make it right. Because we want to entertain you, but at the same time, we really want to teach you something to do.
And it's like a saying, like, true in discuss. Yeah. Inside discuss.
Well, we're always glad to see you.
Yeah.
I hope you'll come and visit my house.
Oh, I would like to come.
And we sit down at the bar, and you can only have 2 beers because that's all you ever drink. 2 beers, 2 Heineken,
And a little bit.
a little bit of vodka.
Your style bourbon coke.
Oh, okay, right, So I'm glad you had a good show.
Because I'm every time I'm private.
Yeah, that's right.
Can drink a lot.
Yeah.
We have few hours for the show, and I would like to try to find something else in the last call deals. Will you do the same?
The end of the show is when all the deals are. I like tomorrow, when they're packing up. There's still a lot of guys that are still here tomorrow. Then you can really make some good deals. Sunday morning, right after church.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, good enough. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you very much.
You're a good friend.
Thank you too.